whatever that was. But she always say, well, your friends are my friends, right?
Oh,
and
like my mom.
Yeah.
I'm your friend, Miss Williams.
And my friends love my mom to death. They absolutely do. But that is something that I feel that I have done differently. And I wish that she was able to explore that more, you know, because it's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing. And don't get me wrong. Early on, I was scarred. I was one of those girls that was just like, I cannot deal with females. I'm not doing it. I had a lot of men as my friends. But then...
Period.
That's me too. I had a lot of men as my friends. But then I started to open up. And I think the first person, and that's why she's like one of my besties now, is Ebony. She lives in Florida now, but she was like one of the first persons that I really started to open up in my adult life and you know, embrace our friendship. And then different women started to come along. And it's been great. And it's been an amazing sisterhood, man. It's amazing to be able to have, you know, a sisterhood and not feel like you're competing and we're supporting each other. And, you know, that's so important. So that's something that I wish that, you know, my mother was able to experience. But she experienced it through me. And she always says that you have some amazing women in your life, you know, and I do. So I love everyone. Thank you guys for just being, you know, amazing to me. I appreciate that.
I need some tips on how to do that, because I really do try to be friends with the women. I really do. But it always seems like exactly what you said, like some type of competition or some type of assumption. To have a sisterhood would be amazing. I think sometimes too, when I get in a room with women like y'all right now, I'm even gonna lie, like my shoulders is mad high or whatever.
Right.
Because I'm just not used to that. When I'm in a masculine energy, I just feel more like I can be myself somewhat.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping this is the start of that.
Yeah.
Girl,
yeah.
call me, girl. We could be friends.
Unhunch your shoulders.
We're not talking to you. I got enough men in my life.
That's right.
Oh, you are single, honey. Do what you do.
See, I might know somebody. See how she gonna cast me out right there? You know what I mean?
About that, I need some female friends. It's different.
Yeah.
Sisterhood.
Yeah, for sure. And my mother was the same way. You know, she had a lot of like family members and women in her life, you know, in that way. But I can't necessarily say everyone was her friend.
Yeah.
And it's funny you said that, because I just learned something, you know, that I might have picked that up from her, so to speak.
Yeah, I think the important thing, and that's not just even in our sisterhood, but anybody, like even in your relationships, the one thing that I had to learn was it's not about, and I know you've heard me say this before, it's not about trusting the other person, it's about trusting yourself.
Right.
That when that person dishonors you or you know, do something that does not hold you in a light that you should be in, that you will remove yourself from that space, right? And that was something that I had to learn. It's not about trusting you. I don't know who you are. You don't know who I am. We're just meeting, you know. It's about trusting myself, but having an open space, being open to receive love. To receive love, rather it's from our sisterhood, rather it's from our intimate partners, but to be available. A lot of us are not available to be able to receive what it is that we're saying that we want.
It's that wall.
You know, it's the wall, it's the trauma, it's the unhealing, and you know, a lot of us are not available. And I always tell people, the best way to know when you're not healed is when them triggers come. That is a reminder that there is still something left in you that needs to be healed. And that's okay. That's okay. It doesn't mean you're not on the right journey. It doesn't mean that you're not you know, doing the work. It just means that, oh, that's a reminder. That's something I still need to work on. And usually when those triggers come, we tend to back up or back away. They're going to do us like that person did us. They're going to leave us. They're going to abandon us. They're going to whatever. But no, hold on. Focus on whatever it is that's making you feel, you know, triggered. Fix that, and then trust yourself. So,
I came here for drinks and a good time. Okay? Where's the Kleenex? It's triggers everywhere.
look, she got some.
Not really.
Hey.
Hashtag dope therapy.
You know what I'm saying?
Hashtag dope therapy. Therapy where works. That works.
It definitely does work.
Levante Dorsey and Associates.
Let me take a quick minute and shout out some of our listeners. Shout out to Monique O'Neill. Shalom family.
Sis.
Yes. Hello, Miss Delisa. We miss you, boo. Delisa Lewis will be on the panel. Shout out to you. Oh Lord, listen. I'm telling y'all, she gonna keep it all the way real.
I like that already.
Her and Bishop, her husband Bishop Rob Lewis. We love him on the panel.
I'm
so
coming to
shout
church
out.
after football season. I'll see y'all around February.
I cannot.
I'm just gonna keep it honest. February 11th, I'll be in church.
He know not what he do, Father.
No, February 18th.
Listen, I'm going to put the question out there. Whoever calls or put it in the chat first. How many Rebirth lives have we done so far? How many, including this one, what number would this be? The first person to put it in the chat or call. And it can't be anybody that is family.
I was just texting my brother like,
Here's the answer.
you online?
No. It can't be anybody that is family
that affiliated with the show.
that is affiliated with Rebirth Live. And that means our co-hosts, our producers, our assistants, because they know. So we want to give other people a chance to win these tickets. So how many Rebirth Live, what number Rebirth Live will this one make? The first one to put it in the chat or give us a call at 267-908-3166 will win 2 tickets to Rebirth Live at Theater Inn on October 13th.
Yes.
All right, let's keep it going.
All right.
Let's keep it going. So, what is the one thing that you guys are looking forward to on this panel? Like, what would be the
Juicy conversation.
Right.
Well, how many people have been on a panel like sort of similar to this? Or you talked about
I have.
yeah, topic wise, relationship wise, you know.
Yeah, I have.
No.
I've been in the audience.
Nah.
So this is you're gonna
I am
sing,
not.
but you
Yes, and then I will be seated.
all right.
So let me ask you a question.
So clear.
Right, period. Period.
This is hard
That's
enough.
that
This
New
is right
York.
here. This
What
my panel.
part
This
of New
my
York you
panel.
from?
I'm from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. We got a lot of Brooklyn people that's gonna be on the panel.
Okay.
Meshach, Corey.
Oh,
yeah.
You said Meshach and Abednego.
Corey from the Bronx.
I told y'all I'm saying.
Corey from the Bronx.
Yeah, he's from the Bronx.
Okay, Corey from the Bronx.
I'm by
sorry.
way of the
And I'm
Bronx.
from Long Island.
And
Oh, okay,
Long
Strong
Island.
Island.
Okay.
Strong Island.
Yeah. So you were in the audience. What was your experience being in the audience?
For me, it was interesting. Man.
Which one did you attend?
Don't, because that's going to give the answer
Okay.
to how many we've done.
True that. My bad.
Don't
Oh,
say
I was
which
about-
one you
almost
attend.
said it too.
I know you
Almost
are.
said
It's
it.
okay. Go
I
ahead.
think the biggest thing for me, which says a lot about, I'm not there now. I'm 37 years old now. But at the time,
Skip them numbers.
right, at the time for me, it was just refreshing to hear men and women having a healthy conversation where both points can be made. We can laugh, we can be serious, but I was able to take something from both sides without it necessarily being an argument.
Right.
It was a really conversation.
Yeah.
And I'm so, I was, used to men who don't really communicate that well. And unfortunately, some rowdy family members and friends, as far as women, who don't necessarily communicate the best either. So, I walked away feeling very cultured and like a lady. So,
Good.
Period.
I love that. I love that. Yes. I miss my period thing. Period.
You don't know when to bring it in, Shay. I'm starting to think
So
it.
what would be one of the questions like you guys would want to hear the men answer, right? Because we want to hear the juicy. Shout out to Levante Dorsey, baby. Levante Dorsey will be on the panel. Yes, she's amazing. She was on the panel before.
Come on, Bishop.
Yes, and she cannot be here because she is healing right now from surgery. She's trying to get that leg
better
right.
soon,
But
honey.
She gonna get better soon.
Yes.
Get better, Tay.
Oh man, we got some energy.
I got a good question.
Wait a minute, we didn't answer it yet, did you?
Well, you didn't
asked.
ask
What? Oh, the question.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
What?
This for the men?
For the men.
For the
Okay, go
men,
ahead.
yes.
I can't speak for them all, but you can practice on me.
She said.
Well, it might apply to you, it might not. But most of the time when you talk about abusive relationships, you automatically think that the woman is the abused, right?
Right.
So I would like to hear from some of the guys. Have you ever been in an abusive relationship?
Mercy.
Was it emotional, mental? And I would love to hear if any of them have ever been in a physically abusive relationship, because most men don't want to say that. Their pride won't allow them.
Right.
But if you were, did you get out of it? Did you go back? Are you still in it? Like, I want to kind of hover around that a little bit.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. So the
That's
abuse,
I think
the
that would be
abuse you look
very
at-
interesting.
The abuse you're
a
asking
good
about,
question.
is it just physical abuse, or I didn't hear that
She
part?
said
Sorry.
emotionally and mentally too.
Okay. didn't
But
hear
I
that
said I
part.
would love to hear if a guy would admit that he's been in a physically abusive relationship. And
good.
did you leave and did you go back? And if you went back, why did you go back?
That's good.
I've
And
been
I would-
swung on.
You have.
I've been swung on.
Did it? No landed punches though.
Oh yeah, it got me in the jaw, like shit me right here one
It was
time.
a girl with the one
That's
arm.
why you gotta listen.
What
It
did
was
you
the girl
do,
with the one
Eli?
arm.
No.
It was the girl with the one arm.
You
Eli.
heard that? Check.
That's who it
The mic
was.
lower than that.
She had one arm. She clocked with that.
No,
It
she
was a
didn't.
lefty.
That
What
girl-
did you do? What happened? I mean, not what did
Well,
you
it
do,
was,
but what happened,
it was,
Eli?
I was in a relationship with this person and just anger issues. You know what I mean? Like I think at the time, because see, I don't want to, cause I love this person, and I have respect for them, and we are great friends. So I'm gonna say,
Oh,
I'll
okay.
say I think due to maybe how she was raised, like most of us, like I've seen, and I talked about this last week. A lot of us, some of us, I ain't gonna say a lot, some of us, we handle every conflict with physical violence.
Right.
And this goes from our children. Like I work with little kids. Somebody takes a Lego from somebody, they punch them. Like there's no anything in between. So I think if you start out that way and you're raised on survival, that's part of it. I think she was raised on survival. So when things didn't go, maybe, or when I could have triggered these things, but I didn't think I was triggered to the point where I need to be punched or swung on. You know what I mean? Because I don't hit women. I was raised on love. I was
Right.
raised by a lot of women.
Right.
So I wasn't in that frame of mind. But yeah, no, eventually we had to separate because of that.
Okay.
Because of my work and what I do for a living, I can't be in jail. Then I'm losing my job.
Right,
Then I'll
right.
be saying paper or plastic. I don't
Right, right.
I don't really want that life right there.
Right.
Paper in place.
Yeah, paper or plastic.
Oh,
So back in the day, because you had a
Right.
choice.
Right.
Now in Delaware, they don't
Now
give
we
shit.
ain't got nothing.
Sure
You gotta walk
don't.
out the store with your shirt in your hand.
Bring your own bag.
Put your Trader Joe's bag.
Yeah, you didn't walk out with a head of lettuce. You just got this in your hand. So yeah, so no, I think I don't know if a lot of dudes would admit that.
Right.
Because one thing we're always worried about is looking weak or appearing to be vulnerable in some kind of way.
Right.
But I think that's the great thing about our panel, the group of men that we have, and we've had these guys on the show all the time, and we all have talked about, we've been real. And Shay, I know you can attest to this, you can agree. Like when things happen to us, like we're not afraid or ashamed to admit it because it's a part of life. It's a part of your
Right.
growth. And if you don't go through nothing, then how do you grow?
Right.
So
Right.
Right.
Okay, interesting.
I do have a question as well for the men.
Yeah, let me hear it.
Once you find a good woman, why is it that y'all get so comfortable and consistency goes out of the window?
ooh, child.
I feel like that is a regular thing.
Eli had to drink on it.
So the question was,
When you
because
being
I want to
treated
reiterate
well,
that.
you being treated well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. And so the question was,
my gosh.
once you found a good woman, right? Why does the consistency
Fall off.
fall off?
All of the
Why does the consistency
weight of the relationship
Yeah.
falls on the woman.
And the men that have joined us on social media,
Answer,
if you
fellas.
would like to
Oh, you
chime
quiet
in
now.
and answer that
got an answer.
question,
Silent night.
I have an answer.
let me hear your feedback. Why does the consistency goes out the door pretty much? Why do y'all become so comfortable? Why y'all not taking us out on dates no more?
Yep.
Right? Why we leaving clothes and stuff all on the floor? Okay.
Somebody.
Whoa, PTSD going on. Had to slip over them drawers.
This is your load. Oh, I'm
Right.
loading your load. Oh, okay.
Right. Right. Excuse me, Jen.
So
was just
we saving that one for the panel.
Yeah. So
That's a
why
good
do you
question,
think that
though.
is?
I think that is because I think you have to grow and mature into relationships. And so when you're not mature, once you get what you're chasing and you have it, it's like when you get that new car. When it's got the new car smell and you go to car wash every week. Year in,
Right.
it's filthy.
Right.
You don't treat it the same. You know, you
Yeah.
don't wash it. You don't vacuum it
That's
out.
dangerous.
Smelling
though.
like
No,
a
There's
fry.
disconnect.
I'm not saying that.
No, I'm not saying.
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just saying it. That is dangerous. I know. I'm not going to generalize. I'm not going to speak for all, but y'all ladies are
I will
trying
speak for myself.
I feel that's because I feel that women are very mental. We like mental stimulation, right?
Yes.
So I think that if you're not doing, and I'm not talking about taking us out all the time. I'm not talking about, but if you kind of start like falling back on that mental stimulation
Yes.
and the consistency and stuff like that, like
That part.
we will kind of slip a little bit in regards to the connection, and it takes a little bit harder for us to reconnect than it do. I feel men.
No,
I
don't
think that
disagree.
it takes us harder to reconnect. I mean, what do y'all think?
I was gonna say, do you think to some degree it takes a level of requirement from the women? Like for us to start, like, hey, we ain't been out on a date. You know what I mean? Like I require it. You know, we need to be, and maybe these are things that maybe need to be discussed from the beginning as non-negotiables.
And
Like,
that,
listen, if
and
you're
let me
doing
say
so
this.
much.
I think that is absolutely true. I think
Yeah.
because we are, and I've said this before, Shay, and I know you might side eye me, but I think when I think that when, especially if you are the person that's working the most, like I have 2 jobs, right? And I come here every week and we do what we do. And so there are times where I tell my lady, I said, listen, if there's something I'm not doing, tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we get so caught up in making sure you have everything that you need and some of the stuff that you want. Because nothing makes me happier than seeing my wife good, my
Say
kids
that
are happy.
again, sir.
They have all of those things right there. Everything's in place. We're not worried about our bills. So sometimes in the midst of trying to make sure all that stuff is happening, we may, because we're men,
Not
we're
think
simple.
about it.
So you have to reel me in. It's so, and I'm okay with that. Like
Right.
you have to communicate that to me, and then I'll pour it on. Now, in the midst of me living life every day, I may start to waver again, but just pull me back.
Right.
But how much time between the waivers? You feel me? Because we
got tired.
discussed this already. I'm sorry. Can y'all
so
tell me
tired.
it
Go
was
ahead, go ahead.
personal? All right. I'm just saying though, like if we've already, like you said, it's just making it clear to you, like communicating. Okay. Then you waiver again. That's fine. We're human, right?
Right.
It's the time periods between the waivers for me.
Well, it ain't every week. Like you tell me Monday, and then by next Monday I'm wavering. No, I don't mean that soon. But at some point, because we're human, we ebb and flow, and sometimes
Absolutely.
things,
Can I?
Go ahead.
Oh.
Yes. Go right ahead.
Sorry. So, okay, let's take that. Right, I'm in a session. I'm in a couple session, and I hear what you just said. Okay, but that's not always the answer. What is usually said is, look, I provide for you. I do this. I'm doing that. What else do you want from me? What more do you want? That's usually what a lot of people are being met with, not the answer that you gave.
Right.
It's like, what else do you want me to do? You know what I'm
But
saying?
you know what I hear a lot is when they're asking that, they're saying that, but they're all for the woman. A lot of times, in my experience, they want the same level of energy and consistency you're giving when you're trying to get her. When you're trying to get her, what happens is once you get her and you're courting her, dating her, whatever you want to say, for a period of time. Whoever said it is kind of like you get comfortable and then you start falling off. So it's like, yeah, you still may be doing all these things, but the energy is shifted. And I think that's to be expected to some extent.
Right.
Because now you're more familiar with the person, you're more comfortable. But what are you now going to do to keep this exciting, to keep me wanting to, like you said, you're happy to see the kids are good, the wife good, this, that. When I see you, I don't want to be like, oh, here you come. I want to be, because that's how people get.
Yeah.
Here you come. That's what they do. Don't nobody want to be like that.
I gotta watch for that rolling of the eyes when I walk in the room.
That
All
part.
right, thank you for
when
letting me know
I see
that.
you, I want to literally like knock you over out of excitement.
Right.
So I mean, to her point, I just kind of feel like I get it. The consistency be here, but I like to say, don't introduce me to a vibe you can't maintain.
That's the point.
Period, point blank.
Don't
do
that
it.
part.
Don't do it.
That
Introduce
part.
me to a vibe you can't maintain.
I like
Period.
it. Yeah.
You selling
Do
those?
not.
We selling those.
Put it on the
Do not.
Get back.
Because I am very much a person who I like structure and I like to be spontaneous too.
Right.
But once I get used to something, you start going to the level. What the hell wrong with you? Like,
Right,
what
right.
happened? Tell me what happened. What's happening?
Yeah, like
because let's get back to the right.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Exactly.
So yeah, I get it.
I think one thing that's
love it.
important too. I definitely love that. I want a shirt.
Me
Don't
too.
introduce me to a vibe that you can't maintain.
That part right there.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Period. No, I think one thing that's also important too. Everything you said is definitely valid. But we as women too, we got to make sure we're doing our part.
That part.
I'm gonna
And I
speak
got
for the
something to
men.
say to that when
I'm
you're
gonna
done.
speak for the men. Yes.
Of course.
Did you say you had
When you're done.
Get off me. I do, but I'm holding.
Just as sexy as we was when he was chasing us, just as fly as we made sure he was every time he was chasing us,
Yeah.
we got to maintain that. So yes, sometimes you may have to put on the makeup going to bed. Sometimes you may have to take the
like
scarf
my
off.
drawstring.
But listen, just as you want him
Your
to keep that
G-string.
energy,
Not every.
She said drawstring. It's a bonnet with the drawstring on it. I know what you're talking about. Yes. But reality is, if we want him to keep that energy, we got to give him something to keep it. Because if
I
not,
feel
somebody
you.
outside
Yeah.
is going to get.
Absolutely.
Somebody outside is
I
going to
feel
give
you
it
on
to
that.
us. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So we got to make sure we doing my part, and that's the part I was coming to when you was like, how do you deal with that, especially when you are doing your part.
Yeah.
Mhm, that's
Right.
the part
You know
right
what I
there.
mean? I'm staying fly. I'm in the gym. Booty still popping.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm still here. I can still do what I do in the bed.
Right.
Hello.
Yeah.
So, question to you all after Janelle's
Hold on one
done.
second. Shout out to Janelle. Janelle said,
said you
Janelle,
started
Hey,
off Michael.
Janelle.
she said men love crazy women. Janelle.
Low-key. Low-key.
They do
Low
like a
key.
little
Because
crazy.
when they get the good ones, it's like,
Cray,
what do I
cray.
do now?
They
You know
like
what I mean?
they like crazy. until
Crazy
they no
women got
longer-
that good.
Hold on, they got that good coochie. That's what
That's
they
that
say.
good shit. I'm sorry.
Men
You look
like
nutty.
men like crazy women until they can no longer control the crazy.
Yeah. When they can't control that
When they
crazy,
can't control the
trying
crazy,
to jump out
Oh
the
there
my
it is.
God,
Then they
that's
running. So yeah.
Yeah. that's
So
a fact.
question
Word.
for all of you.
Go ahead.
So as we talk about men getting comfortable and not, don't introduce me to a vibe that you can't maintain.
You didn't have to say it like that.
Right.
Okay. Don't introduce me to a vibe that you can't maintain. Does that
said
work
it
for you?
with a little
All
attitude, didn't he?
Right. Cause my
Some
queen,
sarcasm.
y'all making me turn into a queen up in here. Got me snapping this shit. So, but so listen, how come in the beginning, y'all are like freak of the week? And you're doing all these things, and you got me out here, and I'm putting the ring on it.
And your nose open.
And once we into the relationship, you turn into Mother Teresa.
That don't
I
apply
can
to
tell
me.
you.
What
I
happens?
can't answer that.
I can tell you.
Ladies, what happens? Talk to me.
I mean, I think a part of that has to do with the chase.
I want to hear from everybody too.
I
By
know.
the way,
I mean, for me, I'm just saying. I think a part of it is if you're not chasing me no more, and again, because women, we are mental. You cannot come home and be like, oh, here she go, and think my coochie gonna be wet. Absolutely not.
It's the
Absolutely
straight
not.
face
Well,
for me.
Period.
But that's like you come home and you like, hey babe, and you like, oh, here she go again. Coochie is like, good night, sir. Bonnet,
Can I take the
drawstring
trash
on.
out?
You got a good point though, because I
serious.
think as the relationship goes on, now you don't have the newness. The newness wears off, the whatever, and you start having a relationship with situations and
real life.
Reality,
real
Real
life,
life.
right?
All of that
So you
come
get
into
caught
play.
up in real
Yeah.
life and things fall by the wayside. But that's where that tap on the booty at the sink, when she doing
Yes.
dishes, tap her on the booty kind of thing, hold her around her waist while she, walking by, kiss her.
Yeah.
Throughout the day, love language happens throughout the day, so that by the
Especially
time
for
we in the
women.
bed at night, I'm ready.
Now,
Right?
now, I will say this. Now, this goes both ways. It goes both ways
Definitely
because
does.
I have seen. I'll leave it at that. I have seen
A friend of
where
a friend. No.
after
You synced it.
a woman has had her children,
Yes.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
man views her differently. They view.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, now it might not be you.
Oh, okay.
But this has been because I
That
I
mouth
want-
still do the same thing after them kids come.
Oh
Saying,
my! Some men.
This is
listen,
real.
listen.
TMI.
The coochie got bounced back
So
too.
men,
speaking for the fellas.
some men look at their wives, their woman as that's the mother of my kids, so I don't want to do what the freakiness or whatever. And that has been something that
Really?
it has,
You've
yes.
seen that
I
in your
have-
work? Okay.
Absolutely,
Wow.
absolutely.
When I was younger.
So I don't want to because again we're gonna have all type of people there, so I don't want to make someone feel a certain way because
You're gonna be doing
that might be them that we're speaking about. We
Right.
want to keep that in mind, of course. But it goes both ways. You have, people that's just like, man, I used to do that with my wife, but she's breastfeeding. My child's been on her. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And they may not feel as,
Interesting.
they kind of look at their wives as a little bit more of on a higher pedestal, if you will. So
I think we put you there automatically if we want to marry you. So you don't. I hear what you're saying, Shay, about like I know guys. Even when I was younger, it's certain things I would do with like a side chick that I wouldn't want to do with my main girl because it just felt like my main girl shouldn't do these things.
She should do
But
all the things.
But you're absolutely correct. I'm saying as I matured and gotten older, of course I want you to be.
Okay.
I want side chick behavior from my main chick.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but when you're younger, because you put a woman in a certain place in your eyes, you don't want to see her. Damn, she let me do that. That's crazy. I don't know if I want to be with her no more. But now it's the opposite. Yeah, I really still want to be with her because she let me do this, and she did this to me. So I don't know. It's weird how that energy flips, but communication is the key. And I think a lot of couples don't talk about. You either embarrassed or you're like, nah, I ain't gonna even approach that. I'll just get it elsewhere.
Right.
But sometimes the conversation will eliminate all of that.
It will.
Yeah.
Definitely will.
Yeah.
And we're not traditionally great communicators. Men.
Conversation and communication is everything.
Absolutely.
And
And that's where
especially
we
with
struggle.
sex.
Yes. And that's where men
Transparency,
struggle.
You have to add transparency into that as well
yes.
because you can sit there and have a whole conversation, but if you're not being transparent, nobody's needs is being met.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Right? We just told
Oh, they getting mad. They might not be getting mad at the house, but they getting mad.
Right.
Exactly.
Because Craig at the office laying for your ass. It's always a Craig roaming around there. And listen to your sob stories, and then Craig start doing everything
Craig.
that you said your man
your
don't
work
do.
husband.
Your work, Craig start doing it.
bae.
I used to be a
Work bae.
Craig back in my day. Oh, he what? He don't take you. Let's go to lunch then.
You know what?
Well, we thank God for deliverance, Eli.
Yeah, that's
Everything
just real.
So I have a question for all the ladies. What makes you feel, and we'll start with you, Sarah. What makes you feel loved?
That's a good question.
I am very big on protection. And that comes from the fact that, and it probably sounds a cliche to some people, but the first person who ever protected me was my dad. That's where I felt safest.
Okay.
And that's not everybody's story.
Yeah.
But that's where I felt most safe. So when I am with someone, we were talking about letting our walls down. I know that I can let my walls down when I feel safe, when I feel protected, when I feel like I don't have like when I was with my dad, I didn't have a care in the world. I didn't have to think about nothing.
Yeah.
So when I feel like that is what makes me feel like truly loved, because you're loving me in such a way that I'm familiar with, and you're loving me and you're talking to my love language and to my spirit.
That's a good answer.
Nice.
That is a good.
I have to
Love that.
copy that one. What she said.
Right.
Period.
Yes.
Turn that
What
period
makes
up.
you feel most loved?
Pause.
This is really
Sorry. I'm sorry.
this is really big for me. That really makes me feel love is me being seen and accepted
By the man.
by the man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of men that come my way prior to marriage and even now, when they first see me, it's cool, but when they learn of me, it's intimidating.
Ooh.
I
And
can
it's
feel
like-
that.
Oh, wow.
Period.
Come on.
Period.
Yeah,
With
you know what I
Arsenio
mean?
Hall finger at
I didn't want to interrupt, but I needed her to understand.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And so and that's a part of what I did enjoy about my ex-husband earlier on in the game. He saw me for me and accepted me for me. Not what I did, not what my resume said, but for me. And so for me, to most feel loved is important for me to be seen and accepted for me, not what comes with me, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Because my resume is
That's all.
expensive.
Let me write
Come
my
on,
quiz.
Yeah.
No, that's
It's
right.
expensive.
I got a question about this.
Because you know what,
Ah.
and I'm sorry because I know we in the middle of this, but
No, you're fine.
you know I have experienced that so too much recently that to the point where it have you thinking people want something from you.
Yes.
Like they're using you for what they can
Yeah.
gain. And that is a horrible feeling.
It is.
Nobody want to feel like that when somebody is literally giving themselves to you and they're opening up and letting you in when it might be hard.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you play
When
them
it's
to the
hard.
left.
Right.
Like that's a hard piece.
Yeah.
That's a hard piece.
Absolutely.
It's a hard piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's not just in your intimate relationships,
That's in
but
any
that's in
relationship.
any
Yes,
relationship.
ma'am. Yes,
Yeah.
Any
Yeah.
relationship.
Absolutely.
Yep. Absolutely.
Shauna?
I think what makes me feel loved is having a feeling and knowing that we have a spiritual connection, because I think that when you have a spiritual connection, so many other things fall in line under that.
Right.
So that means if you're spiritually connected to me, you know what my love language is, so you already cater to that, and you already know, like, say you so I have to piggyback off of feeling safe. So if you make sure, if I feel safe, that means you've already put things in place, and you continue to put things in place around me that make me feel safe and make me feel, even if it comes down to, okay, the front door is broke, so, or you're working a 4 to 12 and I'm home alone, so you get me a dog. You know what I'm saying? Like little stuff, the little things, like,
Being considered.
yes, being considered
about. That's
what I
and
mean by
doing
being
things
accepted.
before I even have to say it.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yes, ma'am.
even emotionally, if you're
Yes,
connected
ma'am.
to me spiritually and I'm having a rough day, you're going to already know when I walk in the door and you look at me
on.
and I say
Period.
something, baby, you had a rough day today, right? And I'm like, damn, he
Listen.
right there.
Hold on.
You know?
What about when he be like, I've
Absolutely.
been praying because I felt you in the spirit.
Girl.
Let me
No
suck
man
your
says that.
Eli doesn't say that, though.
No, barring being a pastor,
Yes, so many things.
no man says
It's
that.
my husband. I can do that. I can do
If he is, he lying.
Listen.
She had to lay hands on her.
See,
Man, you about to get
let's-
killed.
No,
so
no,
cut
no,
out.
let's go. We talk about our significant, our husbands or our wives, right? I can say that.
Yep, you can.
Oh, okay.
Mom, it's time for you to turn close.
I'm sorry. Y'all sure y'all want me on the piano? Y'all sure y'all want me on the piano?
She like it right on
Keep
your
it
forehead.
spicy.
Listen, what you mean?
I love it.
Baby, I picture you with the spirit. I'm praying for you. Come.
I am worn
You sound like
out.
But you know what? When you really do, when you
yourself
really,
down.
but when the love is real,
Period
you
on that.
are connected that way.
Right.
You can
That's
feel
it.
each other's energy. You can feel each other's
Right,
spirit.
that's what I
something to be
mean.
said.
Exactly.
That is something to be
Thank
said.
you.
Rebirth Live,
Yeah.
y'all. Get your tickets.
Get your tickets, rebirthyou.com.
Wow.
So I got. So we're saying
Dang, I
now.
don't
What was
get to
that?
answer?
Baby, I've been praying for you. What I gotta say? What's
Sorry.
what's the exact statement?
Chivalry.
Eli, you gonna make her beat you up.
What's the exact statement?
Chivalry
I
is
want to write that down.
I'm just saying, listen. This is just for me. This is for Nelly. I'm sorry. To each his own.
What do you gotta say?
I'm-
One more time.
Nothing.
Baby, I've been praying for you. I'm gonna start saying that
All
shit.
right. Okay.
All right.
We gonna move on.
Yo,
You need. That's the
Shit.
problem.
I done had too many drinks. Nah. No.
Okay, listen. I have a question though for you ladies.
Well,
So
I didn't get to
Oh, I'm
answer.
sorry.
This Negro still
Eli, you gonna get her. She is gonna beat you up. Okay. You not gonna make it up out of here,
I
bro.
know I'm about to see her in the parking lot.
You know she about to see you all about it.
I'm leaving first, so you.
No, I have to say this though, because now I feel like a little weight on me. So you was talking about spiritually, right? So I'm gonna take another turn and say mine is biblically, right? So love is patient, it's kind, it is not self-seeking. That is the biggest one for me. It's like all-encompassing of what everyone just discussed here. And a man should be able to see you for you and not
Yes.
necessarily what it is you do for him or how
Yes.
you make him feel.
Yes.
He should love you for who you are to him, but he should love you separately for who you are and every change you'll make along the way. And that's, now you can speak.
Period.
I'm done now.
Period.
You are excused.
Thank
She
you.
said what she said.
Thank you, Maya Angelou.
I had to ask. It is what it is.
I appreciate that. On my sheet,
What it
I can
is, I
speak.
meant
Right.
All right,
Right.
so-
Corey Wilkerson says,
Yes.
and he's going to be on the panel. He says it goes both ways, though. Keep us motivated and to feel appreciated. We have to do well. Being real about what we need in relationships isn't common as what we want it to be.
He's right. It does go both. I
He's
agree with
agreed.
that.
He's agreed.
He's right.
So Nelly, I think Nelly said this a little bit ago, and I think you all probably feel this way at one point in time. I think women sometimes, I always hear women say, well, men are intimidated by me and my accomplishments and all of this. And do you sometimes overthink that and think that a man is feeling that way? Maybe you guys just aren't vibing? Because I feel like I hear that a lot. Like, yeah, because a lot of you ladies are very accomplished. You have all these titles behind your name. You're business owners. You do this. You're stage performer. You do all these different things. And we automatically assume a dude is intimidated by what you bring to the table. I think that's kind of overused a little bit. Yeah, because
intimidation I'm referencing isn't even necessarily just about it is my financial situation is okay, you know what I'm saying? But it isn't just about that. It's usually because of my emotional intelligence level. So when there's certain things that are like expected, it's just
from him, of you?
Of me, I'm gonna give that already. That's just who I am. But in the relationship, I should be able to discuss the things that matter emotionally, and it shouldn't just be simple surface things because we're together or we've already got past that part. And once it gets to, okay, let's go deeper with each other, that's where the intimidation kind of comes in, because it then forces a man to have to be a lot more vulnerable than maybe he's been with other relationships he's been in. Like y'all said, the atmosphere outside is crazy outside. So the kind of women that some of these men deal with, that's not what we're not having that level.
It's not required.
Yeah.
So in the getting to know that dude stage, like that's, you know how we can fake the funk on a lot of things and then once you get to know a person, you're like, oh damn, he ain't what I thought he was, or she ain't. Yeah. But you can't fake the funk on emotional intelligence. Either you have that or you don't. So we see that early in the game. You have to see it. I don't know how you can fake that. Either you are
surprised.
Either you know theories by different psychiatrists or psychologists, or you don't. You can't fake that. Like you know what I mean? I don't know. I just feel like that. I think that we miss it because we're so, just in general, I think people want a relationship so bad.
Yeah.
And they look past
definitely.
They look past stuff
We lower our
that is
standards.
right there glaring at you.
Yeah, I'll take that.
So I think so. I don't know if it's always like.
So if I can speak to that real quick, yeah, definitely we lower our standards because some of us do just want to be in a relationship, so we'll just lower it, look past it, look past the red flags, and then when everything hits the fan, you're like, oh my God, now you're in therapy at dope therapy. Not even dope therapy. Well, I don't know what happened. So no, I do agree with that. However, I think for me personally, when you keep hearing, "Hey, yo, babe, I gotta match your fly."
Yeah,
we are not in competition, babe. Stop. We are not. We in this together. It's a us thing. Babe, I gotta match your fly. No.
Yeah.
They
say it.
So, okay, so you're saying, why do women say that? I think it's a double-edged sword in a sense that, so you may attract the type of man that you feel is kind of coming and taking from you, but at the same time, you attract what you put out. So I feel like there's a lot of boss women in my circle, and we're go-getters, and I think women don't realize we can get in our own way. Saying that to say that we get headstrong because we got our own. I was there. I was young, no kids, into my 30s. I had my own house, car, doing my thing, working, making good money. And I did. I had the mindset that if you can't even bring at least half to the table of what I'm doing, I don't want you. And I had a low tolerance for the slightest thing you do, you out.
Yep.
Like, so I think it's a double-edged sword because we don't have as much tolerance either because we don't have time for the bull crap.
Yeah.
So
we're in a different time now, and I think now more than ever we are bringing in the
gnats. Is it just me?
No,
it's been a natty summer.
We don't need the.
It's you. You're the next. No, I'm just kidding.
Is she still scheduled to perform?
This is fun.
It's either her or me at this point, Shay.
Now more than ever, women have found out that we can be amazing providers, that we can also have it all. We can have our families and we can also have our careers. And keep in mind, we were, as from little girls, we were raised to be mothers and wives as soon as someone put a Barbie doll in our hand. Right? So now to be able to change that narrative that maybe I don't want to be married. And that's okay. Maybe I don't want to have children, and that's okay. You know, it's okay. I know this conversation always come up a lot too. You know, I know you bring this up sometimes when we had this question on the panel about, you know, would you date somebody that makes less than you? If that person is treating you
Yep, I would.
like
Absolutely.
a queen and doing what he needs to do for you, then what is the point? Because, I mean, why not?
Why
You know what I'm
not?
Yeah,
saying?
for
So
sure.
if
What's
they're
the big deal?
meeting those qualities and all of that you need in a relationship, then that shouldn't be a problem. At the end of the day, he still needs to show up as a man, no matter if he is making less than you. You know? So I think that because we're living in a different time, you know, and we're talking about, you know, intimidation. Yes, I believe it's out there. It's a lot of people that are intimidated. I've had people before I met my fiance. I've had men say to me, I ain't want to come over and talk to you and they said they were intimidated, right? But
Before
when
they got to know you?
Before they got, that's what I'm
Yes.
saying. But as soon as they start having a conversation with me, they was like, yo, you mad cool.
Yeah.
You down to earth.
Right.
But you had already judged. You
Yeah.
prejudged me because of whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Can I say
did
something?
that.
This guy actually told me my Facebook profile was
Wow.
intimidating. I was like, I'm sorry.
What you had on a business suit?
Listen,
And
absolutely not. Okay, I got an avatar up there. I got a whole avatar. But yeah,
Wow.
he's like, yeah, man, your
I
Facebook
believe it.
profile was like mad intimidating.
I believe it.
What?
Yeah.
I believe
That's
it.
weird.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hence why, he has no.
But I think it's checking the insecurities.
That's what
right?
it is. It's
Men have
inadequacies.
insecurities
Yes,
as
they do.
well.
Oh, absolutely.
We have
Right.
insecurities as women. Men have a different type of insecurities. The one thing that we do know about our men, and y'all can chime in, I know you guys are listening, is you define success off of what your career.
Yep.
You being a
The money.
provider. That is what you define success off of.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're dealing with a woman that perhaps is making more than you, or
Bingo.
well, you know, maybe it's just at a different level, then that's where the level of intimidation comes. If you're not secure in who you are,
That's the key.
Now,
They gotta
Eli
be
look
secure.
like he thinking
Culturally.
real hard right now.
like you said, you as a little girl, you're already a dollar set into your lap. You're raised to be a mother and a nurturer, right? Well, as a man, as a boy growing up, you're being taught that you have to get a good job, or whatever you have to do to earn money to take care. Your job is to take care
Not
of
as
your
a boy,
family.
you're not. No, you're not.
No, I'm not gonna say as a
baby
boy, not as
down.
early,
Yeah.
not as early as girls are when I die, because
right? That's
Yeah.
what I'm talking about.
as you
As you grow
become
up.
a preteen, teenager, these are things. If you have a man in your life, these are the things that you hear.
Right.
So automatically, your value is automatically tied to
Right.
the ability to do that. So
Exactly.
it's not like that. It's not like an intimidation thing. With some men, of course, because everybody's different. But I think it's the fact that you are born and bred. Well, you're not born. You're bred to think that this is your role.
Right.
And your grandfather was that way. Your father might have been that way, and now here you are.
Absolutely.
So in your mind, you have to be that way too.
Absolutely. So when that young man that you're talking about comes across one of these boss women that's at the table, and they're not on the same level financially or, you know, status wise, that's where we're talking about the intimidation part comes into play. Because like you just said, you're raised to become providers, and your careers, all of that means for men, that's how I'm successful, right? For women, it used to be us being able to have children and get married is what we would call successful. It's not like that anymore.
Right.
So when these men that are you know, that were raised as young boys to become providers and, you know, have protectors and all of that, meet a woman that is already providing for herself, that is already secure, the question is, well, what do you need me for?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What can I bring to the
I don't
table?
know
Yeah,
those dudes.
that's
I
true
had
though.
that.
You know, she's
I
right.
feel you.
She's right.
I don't. No, you're right. I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
I don't know those dudes right
I've
there.
had that.
Yeah.
So
I've had a dude ask me, where do I fit in at in your life? And I'm
Yeah.
like, what? What do you mean, where do you fit in at? Okay, that clearly means you're not for me.
I don't want you to completely depend on me. Like, because if I die tomorrow, I need you to be able to maintain and manage
Absolutely.
True.
what we have, like earned together. So, yeah,
I
wish.
just feel like men would get a lot further if y'all realize that we as women are divinely built different than y'all. So the things that you may value is going to always be different for us.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
though you may have like, you might be a stickler for your career and the amount of money you need to make in XYZ. When you find a woman that is down for you, that is wife-like material, you should be able to understand that she's not thinking of you in that way solely for that thing, right? That's just my biggest thing.
However,
Now, I get that the culture right now is very, they chasing the dollar, the bag, the gifts, the trips. Like, I get that. But we're talking about a different level of woman, right?
yes, I agree. I think there's still there's a certain level of woman out here that if you don't make a certain amount, you don't even have to make as much as her.
Yeah.
But if she makes 100K and you make 35, you can forget it.
Right.
If you know what I'm saying, and you could be the greatest man ever. You manage your money well. You manage that 35K well. You got your little 401K. You got your crib. You got your car. Everything the women say they want in a man, but he won't have a chance with the woman that makes 100K.
But he might
Tell him,
make
Kwame.
35K and be in law school or medical school. So he might be making 35K right now, but he got potential.
Tell him to
See, I'm
warn me.
repeating after you now. I don't know those kind of women. The
If
women
they're
I know are
making-
not superficial in that way.
Right.
You know what I'm
Now,
saying? So it's
I
hard for
don't
me
know.
to speak to that.
Right.
It's a touchy
I'm just
topic
saying.
because if you're making 35K
I'm serious.
and I'm making 100K and you're okay and content with that, that's a problem for me. Because I feel like if you're really a go-getter, 35K shouldn't be not shaming anybody that makes 35K a year by far. But I'm saying I feel like you should. That means you're a little closed-minded.
Some
I don't
people
know
are
if it's fair
actually,
to say
but see,
that.
some people are actually comfortable with that because they are not
Right.
go-getters.
And that's not the
They're
person
like, oh,
for
I got
me.
money. I'm able to do what it is I'm supposed to do or need to do, and they good with that.
And that's just a
Right.
thing.
Making that amount of money and they feel fulfilled and they are walking in their purpose. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I don't
Yep.
feel
You gotta
like-
respect that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's why I'm
Right.
stepping- that's why I'm making that statement. I don't think saying, someone's only making this, they shouldn't be satisfied. I don't
Absolutely.
necessarily agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
They
it's
just
me.
they may just not be for you.
Yeah,
Right,
right.
yeah.
So
Based
that's what I'm
upon
saying.
that,
Yeah,
and
based upon
here's the double standard, which there are many. I make 100K, you make 35K. I'm not looking at you with the side eye.
Of course not.
I want you. I find you to be everything that I need for me.
Absolutely.
But you make 35K. I'm not gonna dish you. I'm not gonna not date you because
But see,
of that.
it goes back to what we talked about earlier, and we've been talking about the whole time what we're taught. Y'all
Right.
are taught to be a
Yes.
provider,
Yes,
so to you that's
exactly.
providing,
Right.
and you're going to help this person.
Right.
She's taught you need to make more money and you need to do X, Y, Z when the tables are turned, when they flip.
But you-
so I feel like I think that's
Now,
part of
you
it.
know what? I have to say, when I met my husband, now he's older than me, but when I met my husband, I was the one that was that mindset. Oh, I'm making 30-something thousand a year. I got my house and car. I'm this and that. I'm good. I'm cool. And I was in my 30s. I hadn't been to college yet. And he's like, what the hell are you doing? Like, and I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you don't have a degree? No. You don't have children? No. He's like, what the freak? So he opened my mind because I was in that mindset. I'm good,
People become
But he
comfortable.
opened my
Yeah,
mind,
absolutely.
and I went back to college, and I leveled up. And,
And
it
some
was,
people feel guilty for
sometimes
wanting more.
They do.
Yeah.
Some
They
people
feel
are,
guilty
are
for
afraid of
Yeah.
success. You're right.
Yeah.
They're intimidated by success.
So-
absolutely.
Let me say this, and then
Go
I'm
ahead.
done. So I think that like we've all been to college at this table, right? We've all had degrees. So I think that's a little. I have a friend, Rico Benson. He lives in Dallas. He started working at UPS at 25. We're now 50. Amazing. Never stepped foot in a community college.
He gave that man first and last name.
Well, that's my dog though. So it don't matter. That's my man's in there.
Right.
We grew up together. But amazing house, 2 cars, like about to retire. Like he's done his thing and he don't owe nobody anything. So I think we also have to take a look at college isn't the end all be all. And
It sure
is
ain't.
my older daughter go to
True.
college and
Neither
graduate?
is
Yes.
And let's keep it
Is
a buck.
my
Who said you
second
had to
child
go to
going?
college to be
Exactly.
successful?
You don't, but I'm
No
just
one
saying.
said that.
That's a whole
No, I was
nother
just kind
And I
of listening
went
to
there,
what you
but
said, how he
yeah,
put that
but-
pressure on you, maybe.
Well,
Not
he
pressure, but
opened my
encouraged.
mind to it. Yeah, he encouraged
Yeah.
it, and I considered it, and I said, he's right. I should be doing more. And I did, and I stepped up. I could have said, hell with you, I ain't going back to college. You know what I mean? But when he said it, it made me think, and I'm like, you know what? He's right. I should be doing more to level up, and I did. But some people are completely closed-minded to it. Hell with
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Like what I'm making and all that. You know?
But there's
And
also
that's
people who are
different.
smart as hell, and they smarter than the people who was in the book.
That is
True.
Yeah. Let's go
Yeah.
visit
I met
the
many
prison
people
down in
like that.
Smyrna. It's some
yeah.
geniuses in
Like
there.
ridiculous.
Oh,
So unfortunately, guys,
You
we
been in
have to
jail
bring
now?
the
Oh,
show
Negative,
to an
sis.
end. We are mad over time.
I'm shocked.
But
You
this
shouldn't be.
has given.
Oh, yeah, we are.
This is definitely
Way over.
what you can expect coming to the Rebirth. And I want to say this too. I see some of the comments. Corey Vance says, "Ain't nobody intimidated by success. Why y'all using that?" So I want to make this clear, really quick.
Shout out to my guy Corey Van. What up, baby?
Okay,
are.
I want to make this very clear. From everything that you heard tonight, as well as what you're going to hear on October 13th, is based off of experiences. This is not a generalization for everybody. It's just what certain people, perspectives, and all of that. We're
Your
not
life
saying
experience.
we're not saying that everybody. Some of the stuff that you might hear, we're just playing. You know, I don't, do people still say devil's advocate? But we're just trying to put it out there and see
Yep.
what comes back. It's
Right.
not truth. You know, I mean, it's not like set in stone that this is what it is and this
not
is what we
textable.
all believe. It's just perspectives, right?
Right.
And this is what makes Rebirth Live what it is, because we're able to sit back and talk. We all gonna have a drink when we done. Ain't nobody mad at each other, and we respect each other. Right? Nelly said, "Not no
I respect
more."
all the ladies.
We
that are at this table.
we respect each other. So, I just want to put that out there because I don't want anybody to feel offended by our conversations. The guys was here last week. They talked. We had big conversation about, other things as well. So, get a ticket. Go to rebirthu.com right now. If you want to join the conversation, the audience is going to have the opportunity to talk, to ask questions. That's the great thing about it. You guys get a chance to, chime in, and we want to hear it. And again, it's a safe place. It's a safe place because I will not tolerate any disrespect. And that's just what it is. I'm not tolerating any disrespect, and that's what the audience or anybody that's on the panel. Because
Period.
that's not what Rebirth is about. So I just want to make sure that we're very, very clear about that. Corey has a question, and Corey, I'm going to have to table that question because we are so over on time. But his question is, and we'll save this for
Please.
we'll save this for the Rebirth. So he said, question for the ladies: do you feel Black women can be corrected and criticized without attacking the message or the feedback?
Now who's generalizing? Sorry, I apologize. I'm
Good
quiet. Turn my
question.
mic on.
She got triggered.
Good question.
Dope
That's a
therapy.
good question.
It is.
Yeah. So
To be continued.
So
so definitely be continued. And Corey Van says they
sense. How you
how-
gonna judge someone you haven't even stepped to? What kind of dudes are they? He's talking about the men
Yeah.
that
Not wrong.
that prejudge women.
And
Yeah.
I think that goes both ways, though, Corey. I think that men and women, I think humans, we prejudge. I think that's just a humanistic thing that we just do. It's not always nice or
Most of it's fear and
fun.
insecurity.
But
Yeah.
we do prejudge.
And you know what? And we function on this little thing called the ego. We're afraid of rejection.
Yeah.
So we might
Like
not
I
be
said,
intimidated by you. We're afraid of the fact that we walk over to you and
And
we
you
are
gonna say no.
rejected.
Right.
So that stops men a lot of
Yeah.
times. Not that you make six figures, or because we don't even know that.
Right.
But that happens. Let me
Yeah.
say this, Shay, before we go. Listen, Shay and I have a lot of people. I'm gonna say this every week into the show. We have a lot of people come through here week after week after week. We support whatever you're doing. We give you the opportunity to talk about whatever you have going on, promote your business, promote yourself. Buy a goddamn ticket, cause we. And I'm talking to those people that aren't on the panel. I'm keeping it 100. Because we let you come in and get that thing off. Some people come on here, and after me and Shay do the introductions, they talk for the next 50 minutes. And we let you have that. So if you are not on the panel, buy a ticket. If you are on the panel and you've been on here promoting yourself, make somebody in your family buy a ticket. Buy a ticket for somebody. So support us the way that we support you guys.
You
I'm
talking
done.
about me, Eli?
Yes.
Real
talk.
Eli, you
Thank
talking about me?
I appreciate
No,
that.
I was about to say, see me after the show, Eli.
I don't want no trouble. I already gotta fight her about it next year. I ain't trying to fight both of y'all.
bro.
I
I only fight
appreciate
people
that.
my own size.
So what were you
I don't know what that means right there. That means you a big girl, maybe. I'm not little.
Before we go tonight, I definitely want to put the spotlight on an amazing event that Sarah has been working very, very hard on that is happening this weekend. And if you are available this weekend to be a part of the Blondie Mansion, please support this event. Sarah, could you tell everybody a little bit about what's going on for this weekend?
Sure. So Blondie Mansion is one of my little children. It is an innovative and interactive experience where I fuse business, music, art, and I create impact. So I'm able to do that by creating an ecosystem of small business owners, local talent, and creatives. They are actually a part of the event. Like, they work on the event, whether it's balloon decor or helping me or food or whatever the case is. And then so the first night is going to be all about collaboration and all about networking and all about the arts. So there's going to be live painting. There's going to be Araya Love is going to be performing. Harvey Road is performing. G-Jones is actually doing improv and he's hosting. So it's like a whole night. And there's some other things I'm just not going to tell you. You got to come to experience it. But food, open bars, a whole situation, whole vibe.
Wow.
And then the next day, that's at MKT Place Gallery. And there's art on display from Jonia Miller. Then the second day is all about education, because I believe in educating us and educating my people and making sure that we are aware of what we need to be doing in our business to make sure that we're thriving and we're growing or even starting. So we have a whole panels of so many different speakers. We have Logan Herring, who's the ED at work. At the work group over at Riverside Reach. We have Ashley Christopher, who is the CEO of HBCU Week, which just ended.
Yep.
You have me, I'm gonna be there.
Yep.
We have Levante Dorsey.
Woo woo.
We have Genesis Dorsey. I mean, the list is like crazy as bananas. And we're talking everything from branding to self-care, to how to get the money, like monetizing. We're talking about every and anything you could think about. And I am very big on being unapologetically yourself. So everybody's keeping it a buck. And we're also making sure that we're leaving with tangible items, not that fluff, because I don't believe in that.
Exactly.
So we're leaving with tangible items, because I want everybody to level up. So Saturday is called Level Up with Blondie. So we're going to be leveling up. And then we have Blondie Land, where you can get massages. You can build your own sugar scrub. You can build your own flower bouquet. It's a whole vibe. And my vendors, guys, shout my vendors so you can shop. And our sponsors, Wilmington Alliance, the Westin Wilmington, and MKT Place Gallery.
Awesome.
Good ish.
Awesome.
Good ish.
And that's this weekend, y'all.
Yep. So get your tickets,
Get your
SarahACrawford.com.
Say that again.
SarahACrawford.com.
All right, come out and support, man. Y'all can't say nothing is going on in Delaware.
Yes.
It's a lot going on in Delaware, man.
Yeah.
A lot. I mean, like, we are really blowing up. I've heard that it's more people coming out of state to things here in Delaware than it is our own people, right?
I believe it.
So, I mean, even with the restaurants that we have coming up and all of this, it's a lot of people that are coming out of Delaware. I mean, that are not from Delaware, that is coming and spending money in Delaware to these events. So we want you guys to come on out. Make sure you support Sarah. Anybody else got anything going on?
I want to shout out real quick the
Dope
Caribbean.
therapy?
Dope therapy. Holla at me. No, outside of dope therapy, definitely. Shout out to dope therapy. But no, I've actually collaborated with an organization out here called Caribbean Cultural Awareness. Divided by waters, but divided by nations, but united by water. But we are actually having the first Caribbean Carnival.
Awesome.
Right here in Delaware next year. Yes, August 24th, 2024. In Wilmington.
You said August?
August 24th,
Okay.
2024. So it's going to be the first ever Caribbean Carnival. If anybody's from New York, Eastern Parkway. If you've been in Miami, Carnival out there, Canada, whatever. Delaware is having their very first. So
Wow. That's
Nice.
really good.
this organization is definitely doing big things, trying to bring more cultural awareness to Delaware. So they're doing a lot more things, but that's going to be the biggest yet.
I love it.
So they're going to shut down Wilmington, and we just going to Caribbean it up. So just keep a
Wow.
lookout. More information will be out there. I will actually be in charge of the fitness classes to get everybody in shape.
Okay.
All right, all
For
right.
Carnival.
Do that.
Yes,
And,
that needs
so
pride.
so more information will come. But I mean, like you were talking about, Delaware is doing things.
Yeah,
You know,
we
coming
are.
from New York, we never had that. Everybody went back to Brooklyn
Yeah.
for Labor Day parade.
Yeah, when I
but
first
now,
moved here, it was like
Yeah.
no culture whatsoever.
right?
Now I
But now
definitely see
we
it.
bringing
Yeah.
the culture here. So
Absolutely.
definitely just more information to come.
Yay.
Thank you. I want to also, Levante Dorsey says, yes, give us a moment to get our feelings and really process what was said. Yes,
Aw.
absolutely. Absolutely. Shauna,
Yes.
anything coming up for you?
I'm just preparing for the 2024 SOAR Awards in Chicago,
All right,
in
that's what's
Illinois. I
Yep.
performed there this year. They honored Kiara Sheard and a
Wow.
lot of big artists. I'm back there next year. They're honoring Marvin Sapp, and I'm on the main stage again next year. So I'm
Okay.
excited.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Good
Thank you.
stuff.
It's going to be televised next year, so I'm
Yes.
super excited for that. Kim Burrell's going to be there. It's going to be some amazing artists that I'm going to be able to network with and meet. So I'm super excited. And right now, I'm just recording new music, getting ready for SOAR.
Awesome.
That's what's
Awesome.
up.
Thank you,
Thank you. I also listen. If y'all want some braids, I'm in Smyrna. I have Braid
Right,
Nation.
talk about it. Talk
Braid
about
in
it.
Smyrna, Delaware.
about Braid
Shay's Loctician.
Loctician.
Yep. So come on through. We on Facebook, Instagram, and big shout out to Hair Kings. It's a new luxury barber shop in Concord Mall.
Right.
My brother-in-law
I've seen
just
that.
opened up. That's
Yeah,
my
yeah.
brother-in-law
Wow.
shop. He just had a grand opening this past week, and check them out. They got 15 barber chairs, an esthetician, and if
Awesome.
anybody's looking for a photo studio to rent out, they have a nice big setup photo studio ready to rent.
Nice.
Wow.
That's
Right.
awesome. Big things in Delaware. All
No
right,
doubt.
Ebony. Hi. Hi.
I don't have big things. No,
Yes,
I'm
you do.
just kidding.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
No, I don't think when we first started, I kind of like gave y'all a little quick background, but I've been doing this for a very long time. I guess I told my age, and I'm 37 years old. And I actually have been writing. I've been in a couple of different situations with different labels and things like that, where I was writing kind of behind the scenes or whatever, and things didn't necessarily go the way I wanted it to. So I had stopped for a while, and now I'm just deciding, okay, I'm just gonna go out and do this music on my own.
That's what's up.
Nice.
With that being said, I actually have a new single, a new video that'll be dropping next month, and of course I'm going to
Okay.
be
Yes.
performing.
Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
I consider myself more a songwriter than a singer, but I'll be singing or whatever. And then of course I'm going to be performing at Rebirth Live. One of the songs I do have available now, so y'all check me out, Ebony Calloway, anywhere you stream. But I'm going to be performing 2 brand new songs. for
Okay.
y'all on
Okay.
the 13th. So
Awesome.
y'all better come. And all my family that said y'all was coming up here, I'm not going to forget.
I know that's
No
right.
doubt. Remind them.
Rebirthyou.com.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, ladies. I want to give this last comment, y'all, I promise. But this young lady, when I tell you, I just saw her log on and make a comment. When I tell you, she has been at every Rebirth, and she is always one of the first people to buy the ticket. She was the first one that bought the ticket this time as well. Mel Mick, I see you. I see you. Thank you so much for being a big support of Rebirth. Her comment was, I think people should really evaluate what they need from their partner. There is nothing wrong with having a standard. Absolutely. Mel Mick, thank you so much. You just don't know, and I think I've said this to you last time, the last Rebirth, how important people like you is to Eli and ourselves. It just never gets old, and you always stand out to me because you're just there. You're a big supporter, and I appreciate you so very much. So thank you so much. Corey Van, no offense taken, great show again. Thank you, Corey. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody that tuned in tonight. Love is love. We appreciate you. Thank you to my amazing guests, my co-hosts, the people that's behind the scenes, Tasha LaQueen, Jennifer Marshall. Thank you, guys. Shout out to all the
Squad.
Shout out to all the ladies that could not make it tonight, which is Levante Dorsey, Delisa Lewis, Kelly Gutner, India Sage. They will all be on Rebirth Live on October 13th. So get your tickets, rebirth.com. Now, as we close the show, I'm going to turn the mic over to Ebony. Could you please introduce your song, Self-Care? And
You
we're
just
going
did
to
it.
rock out. Why did you, why is it, what made you write Self-Care?
You.
Shout out to Shay Mary.
Someone told me love yourself, and so I was like, you know what? She's up. She might be onto something.
Oh, thank you.
No, but this is just a song I wrote. Actually, it is in a feature film. Y'all should stream it. My cousin also does film. His name is Noel Calloway. It's called Aurora. You can go ahead and stream that on Prime.
Awesome.
So I actually have my song in that movie.
Yes.
So,
we got some big things.
This
up on this.
So this is self-care, and this is for the ladies and the gentlemen.
All right. Thank you.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Self-Care by Ebony Monet Calloway. Thank you guys. Have a blessed night. I'll see you at Rebirth Live.
Hey, yo, Ebony, it's time to get to this money, man. Where you been at? The streets is calling for it. Let's get it.
Touch screen to decline. As I raise a toast, imagining the coast of the playa. Speed after the beat. Airplane mode for the weekend. Paint my toes to a treatment. Blend two coats for the crescent. Pretty me. Self-care. 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 Text on red, focus on sturdy. Took a moment, I'm atoning. And the socials, I'm uninstalling. Stayed unplugged for a reason. Soon got my harvest in season. Woosah, Lord knows I'm easy. Pretty made, self-care. 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 It's a vibe. Self-care. Self-care. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. TDE and the rubber straight, 'cause our time ain't worth the free. It's a vibe, ooh. TDE and the rubber straight, 'cause our time ain't worth the free. No. Self-care. Self-care. It's a vibe. I care. I care. Self-care.